It's 11 p.m. Rosa is sitting at her kitchen table, bank statement in her hand, and she's crying. She made $4,300 this month. She has $67 left. She's not reckless. She's not an addict. She doesn't gamble. She didn't lose anything. She just spent it without realizing, without feeling it leave. If you've ever opened your banking app and felt your stomach drop, this video is for you. Because what Rosa found that night changed everything. And it costs less than a cup of coffee. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Making more money doesn't fix the problem. It accelerates it. We live in a world where money has become completely invisible. You tap your card, you click buy now, you use Apple Pay, you never see it leave, you never feel the loss. Corporations have spent billions of dollars engineering that exact experience. They want you to spend without thinking, without pausing, without hesitating. And it's working. Rosa wasn't bad with money. Rosa was being played by a system specifically designed to empty her wallet without her noticing. The solution isn't an app. It isn't a spreadsheet. It isn't another YouTube video about index funds. It's something a Japanese woman named Hani Motoko invented in 1904. Before credit cards existed, before Amazon existed, before any of this, she called it Kakebo, a household financial ledger, a pen, a notebook, and a philosophy that turns invisible money back into something you can see, feel, and control. Japanese housewives used it to save up to 35% of incomes most Americans would call not enough to survive on. Today, you're going to learn exactly what Rosa learned. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why a $3 notebook from Dollar Tree is more powerful than every budgeting app you've ever downloaded. So why couldn't Rosa feel the money leaving? Think about the last time you paid for something with cash. Really paid, counted the bills, handed them over, felt them leave your hand. There's a slight resistance there, a hesitation. Scientists call it the pain of paying. Your brain registers the loss. Now think about the last time you tapped your card or clicked buy now at 2 a.m. Nothing. No friction, no resistance, no pain. That's not an accident. That's a product decision made by people who profit from your spending. But here's what makes it even harder to fight. Dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, isn't released when you receive the thing you ordered. It's released when you click buy. The anticipation is the reward. By the time the package arrives, you've already gotten the hit, and you're already scrolling for the next one. Rosa wasn't addicted to things. She was addicted to the click. Kakebo breaks this loop by forcing your brain to process the cost before the dopamine gets a chance to fire. And it does it in the most low-tech way imaginable. Rosa bought a notebook from Dollar Tree, $3, and a pen she already had. She sat down at that same kitchen table, the one she'd been crying at, and she wrote 4 questions at the top of the first page. How much money do I have available this month? How much would I like to save? How much do I have to spend on fixed expenses? And how can I improve? She answered the first 3. $3,200 after taxes, $1,500 in fixed expenses, rent, utilities, transport. For savings, she wrote $400, crossed it out, wrote it again, $400. That left her $1,000 for everything else. Then she looked at the 4th question, how can I improve? And she left it blank. She didn't have an answer yet. But here's the most important thing Kakebo teaches from day 1. You pay yourself first. Income minus savings equals your spending money, not the other way around. Most people spend first and save whatever is left, which is almost always nothing. Rosa removed the $400 immediately. Before groceries, before dining out, before anything optional. The $400 wasn't hers to spend. The math was done. Now came the part Rosa had been avoiding for years. Every evening, she sat down with her receipts and sorted every single expense into one of 4 categories: survival, rent, groceries, utilities, medicine, transport. The non-negotiables. You can't cut these to 0, but you can optimize them. Optional. Dining out, shopping, subscriptions, entertainment. This is where the war is won or lost. Culture, books, courses, museums, anything that grows your mind. Kakebo actually encourages this. Spending money to become smarter is an investment, not waste. But it still gets tracked. And extra, the things you didn't plan for. Repairs, gifts, the random charges you forgot about. This bucket is always fuller than you think. Rosa sorted her first month, and when she totaled up the optional column, she stopped. $680. She'd budgeted $1,000. She'd spent $1,680. For the first time in 4 years, she could see exactly where her money had gone. Not a vague feeling, not a guilty suspicion. Numbers on a page, in her own handwriting, staring back at her. For the second month, Rosa tried something different. She went to the bank, withdrew $200 in cash, and put it in a red envelope. That was her entire optional budget for the month. Dining out, shopping, fun, all of it. When she went out for drinks with friends, she brought the envelope. By week 2, she had $3 left. She had to choose skip Friday dinner or skip Sunday brunch. She chose Friday. That week was the first time in years she didn't overspend. Because you cannot overdraft a physical envelope. You cannot put it on a card you'll deal with later. When it's empty, it's empty. The limit is absolute. If cash feels too old school, you can use a separate debit card, something like Revolut or Monzo, and load it with your fixed amount at the start of each month. But physical cash is still more powerful for retraining your brain. Watching that stack of bills get thinner gives you something no push notification ever will, a real visceral sense of a limit approaching. Then came the jacket. Rosa was scrolling Instagram. A Thursday night, nothing going on, and she saw it. A charcoal wool jacket, $89. Perfect. She needed it. She wanted it right now. Old Rosa would have clicked buy and forgotten about it by the time it arrived. New Rosa picked up her notebook and wrote it down in a section she'd started calling her wish list. Charcoal jacket, $89, October 12th. Then she closed the notebook and waited. Here's what most people don't understand about impulse buying. You're not addicted to the thing. You're addicted to the anticipation of the thing. The dopamine hit happens at the click, not when the box shows up at your door. Shopping is often just anxiety wearing a disguise, a way to feel something when you're bored, stressed, or a little lonely. By making herself wait, Rosa didn't just delay a purchase. She forced herself to sit with whatever she was actually feeling that Thursday night. 30 days later, she looked at the list. The jacket was still there, but the urgency was completely gone. She'd saved $89 by doing absolutely nothing. Studies back this up. Roughly 90% of wish list items lose their appeal within 30 days. Not because you became more disciplined, because the anxiety passed, and you realized you were never buying the jacket, you were buying relief. Around this time, Rosa started noticing something else. She had a pair of leather boots she'd owned for 4 years. Scuffed, a little worn. She'd been telling herself for months she needed new ones. Instead, she spent $4 on a tin of shoe polish and 20 minutes on a Saturday afternoon. They looked almost new. She didn't buy the boots. And she didn't feel like she was missing out. She felt like she'd won something. This is what the Japanese call Monozukuri, a deep respect for craftsmanship for the objects already in your life. And Mottainai, the feeling of regret over waste. The consumer economy depends on you being permanently dissatisfied with what you already have. Kakebo teaches you to find satisfaction in maintenance, to repair before you replace. It sounds small, but it is an act of rebellion. At the end of her first month, Rosa did what Kakebo calls hansei, reflection. She opened her notebook and compared her actual spending to her budget. She'd come close on most categories, but one line stopped her. She'd budgeted $80 for food delivery. She'd spent $340. She looked at the dates. The expensive weeks lined up exactly with her biggest deadlines at work. Rosa wasn't lazy. Rosa wasn't undisciplined. Rosa was using takeout to cope with stress. That was her trigger. Now she had a name for it, and a name is power. The next month, she spent 2 hours on Sunday prepping meals for the busy weeks ahead. Uber Eats dropped from $340 to $180. She didn't white-knuckle her way through it. She addressed the actual problem. This is what Kakebo creates. Not just a budget, but a feedback loop. Every month, you get smarter about yourself, a little sharper. This is the Kaizen principle. Continuous improvement applied to your own behavior. You don't feel deprived, you just stop bleeding. By month 6, Rosa was having lunch with her colleague Jake. Jake makes $95,000 a year, nice car, great apartment. Every outward sign of success. Jake asked to borrow $200 until payday. Rosa makes $52,000, and she had just booked a round-trip ticket to Tokyo using money from her savings account. No debt, no stress. Just a date on the calendar she'd been looking forward to for months. Not because Rosa got lucky, not because she got a raise, because Rosa understood something Jake didn't. Wealth is not a number. Wealth is a ratio. The gap between what you earn and what you spend, that's where freedom lives. Jake makes $95,000 and spends every dollar of it. He has no wealth. If he loses his job tomorrow, he has 30 days before everything collapses. Rosa makes $52,000 and spends $32,000. She saves $20,000 a year. She has something Jake doesn't: options. Every dollar you save is not money you can't touch. It is an employee who works for you around the clock. When you save $1, zao, you are not losing buying power. You are hiring 1,000 tiny workers who grow and compound and slowly buy you back days where you don't have to answer to anyone. Rosa didn't want to be the richest person in the room. She wanted to be the freest. And 6 months into a $3 notebook, that's exactly what she became. At the start of month 7, Rosa went back to page 1 of her notebook. She found the question she'd left blank. How can I improve? She smiled. She knew the answer now. Here is your mission. For the next 7 days, you're going to try what Rosa tried. No app, no spreadsheet. A notebook, any paper, doesn't matter, and a pen. Every evening, write down every single cent you spent that day. Coffee, gas, that random thing you clicked on at midnight. All of it, by hand. At the end of 7 days, go through the list. Circle every optional expense in red. Add them up. You will be surprised, maybe uncomfortable. That's the point. You cannot fix something you've made invisible. Awareness is where it starts, every time. So tell me, what's your $89 jacket? The one thing you keep buying that, if you're being real with yourself, you don't actually need. Drop it in the comments. No judgment here. And if you're done wondering where your money goes every month and ready to actually build something, subscribe. There is a lot more where this came from. The path to financial freedom doesn't start with a salary increase. It starts with a notebook,